let me tell you about the magical language of trees. Legend says that the Celtic god of eloquence and wisdom, Ogma, invented the first Ogham script in ancient Ireland so that words could be captured on wood or on stone instead of being remembered only in the minds of the bards and the druids. The Ogham alphabet is an ancient Irish system of writing that predates the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. There are inscriptions of Ogham to be found on stone in Ireland, in Scotland, in Wales, Cornwall, the Isle of Man, dating back to 400 CE. But the alphabet itself was probably older than this. It's likely there were older inscriptions on wood that just haven't survived. So this is the ancient Ogham alphabet. The central line is called the stem. The marks that cross like branches represent different letters, and each is named for a tree. These individual letters are called twigs, and we read it from bottom to top, grasping each of the twigs as we go, like climbing a tree. And the myths say that it was the trees themselves that first taught this magic to Ogma, to share the wisdom of the forest with the people, and to create a secret language for the poets. So there are 20 original letters grouped into acme or tribes, sets that have the same orientation. As you can see, the first acme, the acme of beginning, has marks from the stem going to the right. One line to the right would be bay or birch, two would be lush or rowan, and so on. The next acme, the branch of gaining wisdom, has marks going to the left. The third crosses the stem at an angle, and the fourth straight across. So the last 5 letters on the right, the ones that look really different, are the forfeda, the additional letters. They were added in the Old Irish period, centuries after the heyday of Ogham, and we think that was to incorporate Latin sounds into this system that had been developed to actually write Old Irish or primitive Irish. Here, as an example, is my name, Amelie, written in Ogham. So you can see we start at the bottom, at the root, and the letters move upwards. Some of the correspondences we have for the Ogham are truly ancient, and others were mapped onto the system by maybe a little over-enthusiastic scholars later on. So, for example, we owe the idea of a Celtic tree calendar, with each tree corresponding to a month, to the 20th century poet Robert Graves, and sadly not to the Druids of old, unfortunately. But in fact, there were many varieties of Ogham at one time, and we know very little about their details. But as a mythopoetic system, it can be really inspiring for those of us that follow an earthy spirituality now. John Paul Patton, in the poet's Ogham, a living magical tradition, writes, I postulate that the Ogham is a sacred alphabet, a magical alphabet, a living alphabet of symbols that is part of the spirit of Ireland and her people. It catalogues the sounds of the ancient Gaelic language, and for those who will use its keys, it is an instrument through which the poetic song of the world can be heard and realised as thrilling through every fibre of existence. So we can approach the Ogham as a tree alphabet, but we do have to be aware that there are many more secrets held within than just tree correspondences. But taken in this way as a mythopoetic system, the Ogham can be a beautiful way to connect to the energy and folklore of trees, to lead us deeper into the mysteries of the forest. Each tree has its own wisdom to share. Each has a rich store of folklore, of myth, of magical lore. We can use the Ogham in the same way that tarot is widely used for divination, to seek answers and guidance from within ourselves. When we ask a question and we pull an Ogham stave, we can take the overall meaning ascribed to the tree and use that to help us think about our situation in a new way, to expand our thoughts, to consider new possibilities, new connections. We can also use the Ogham as a written language to make personal talismans or charms that we might use to carry with us, that we might use in our ritual, in our ceremony. But I teach the Ogham in my Earth Priestess training not primarily to be used as an alphabet, but really to foster a deep sense of wonder and connection with the land. We can take this knowledge of magical correspondences with us out as we walk this sacred landscape of which we are a part. And we can use it to re-enchant our outer world, to truly feel that we know the trees as more than just a vague green background, to experience a different way of being present. If we're grappling for answers or with problems in our lives, rather than pull an Ogham stave, we can walk the land. We can see what trees we come across. We can take the messages that we know they hold for us. For example, say I'm out walking and I happen across a stand of birch trees. The wind whispering through their leaves might remind me of the magic of new beginnings, of being open to new possibilities in my life as I weave my way through these intrepid pioneer trees that are always first to arrive on disturbed ground. I might then ask myself, in what ways are my fears of the unknown stopping me from moving forward? How might I breathe in some of the adventurous spirit of the birch? Or if I'm feeling like I need support, I might seek out and spend time with an oak tree, this majestic symbol of strength, endurance, durability, longevity. I might perhaps collect an acorn to carry with me as an anchor, to remind me of my own inner strength and the solidity and groundedness that I felt in the presence of the oak. If I feel drawn to working with a particular goddess, I might choose to involve in my practice a tree that is known to be associated with her, adding another layer to what I'm doing. Because symbols and stories are the language of the subconscious. And when we use them consciously, our rituals, our practices become more potent, more effective, as the stronger we can influence our subconscious, the more of an effect we will have. Knowing the Ogham in this way, a walk in the woods can become more than just a way to get your daily steps in. It can become a conversation, a communion with the land, the start of developing a deeper, more reciprocal relationship with the spirits of land, the spirits of place that are always surrounding us if we can just learn to expand our awareness. And the Ogham is one of those keys that we can use to open our mind to these possibilities, to take in the messages and the teachings of those that share the earth with us. And that's why I believe it's important to study the Ogham as modern day practitioners of an earth spirituality. With so much love.